Yo, yo, yo. All right. So far, so good. Well, okay, that's actually not true because now my chat isn't working in OBS. But besides that, there we go. Everything else is kind of working though. So we will consider that a win. Um, docs menu on the menu bar. How's everyone doing today? Huh? How's everyone doing? Oh, there we go. And I got it fixed. Simple reading, simple reading, simple reading and writing. It's just Servo. How's it going, buddy? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk about the big 62, 72. I'm ready to talk about this looking to be a wonderful release. Looking to be a wonderful release. Not gonna say it is yet. Not gonna get too overexcited. We don't have it in hand. It's not purchased yet either. So, two very important things to point out is it's not purchased. Bandai should re-release 62. I have no idea why they haven't yet, unless what they're gonna end up doing is getting the rights to Kong somehow, and they're gonna release it like as a 2-packs or something. I don't know what's going on there. Very, very odd for Bandai not to release 62. They know it's popular. I see the Japanese fans requesting. For the fans that don't have 62, I see them requesting it, but obviously the fans with the Memorial Box aren't requesting it. So, but they want their Bandais to stay rare and valuable. Which now that there's paint differences, if they did 71, they should at least do 60. Well, 66 keeps ending up on the voting lists instead of not. So 66 keeps getting screwed, but absolutely. I mean, Bandai more than any other company, Bandai and Super 7 should be able to get every iteration of Godzilla ever. Period. I would say that before MonsterArts, before Haya, before, I mean, even X Plus, which is also basically mostly done at this point. They're missing, I think they're only missing like one or two, because I don't think they actually have a Mega Gearus 2000. I could be wrong though. I can't remember if they have a Godzilla 1999 and a Godzilla 2000, or if they're all just 2000 with paint changes, or 99. I can't remember. Because I think they have a 66, if I'm not mistaken. They might not have a 66. So like, there's a few. 66 is probably the Godzilla that's done the least, not counting like 57 or anything like that. So 66 is not a popular design. So regrettably. But same Servo, I hope they do, because I don't collect movie Monster Series figures anymore, but for a past me, and then a lot of my friends still collect movie Monster Series, I hope they can fill out their collections. And that's something I want to see them do. I do want to see them make a 66 just as much as I wanted. Goodness, bro, 57 is a hot take. Yeah, I mean, the only one that really exists is the Super 7. So, the React figure. And that's it. Which is odd. Everyone wanted it, and I see people like doing iOS posts, and I try to sell them to people, and no one wants to buy one. So, there's some, and then there's some model kits and stuff. But like for availability and affordability, the only 57 that's affordable is the React Super 7. So, unless some of those kits aren't as expensive as I'm thinking of. But I made a custom 57 out of your 54. Nice. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. I don't think we would ever get a 66 or a 57 in MonsterArts, but like, you never know. You never know. Speaking of MonsterArts, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty damn excited. We have got 72 has made landfall in Japan. Today, it's basically been the first 24 hours that people have actually had it in hands. It released yesterday, but because it's a web shop, it gets shipped to people, so it ships out on the 25th. And then most people got it 26th. Japan's about 14 hours ahead of my current time zone. So, you know, that's why they were already seeing it. It was still today when it wasn't today yet here in the US. It's, time zone stuff. So I'm pretty pumped about it so far, at least. The stream we're going to be going through, talking about it. I'm going to keep it at about an hour. I don't like to go too heavy-handed in these discussion streams because, once again, none of the photos, and if we watch either of the 3 reviews that I've seen, probably won't, because that's like a huge chunk of time, and I don't have permissions from the YouTubers. I get it's on YouTube, so technically, like, I could go and take it and stream it on stream if I wanted to, but I like to try to be at least a bit respectful when it comes to videos and photos. So once again, as I've been saying in all my posts and videos and live streams that are like this, these photos are not owned by me. I do have the screenshots of where they came from. I don't have the links yet, mainly because I can't put X on a live stream. Okay, it's it's got some things that aren't YouTube appropriate, so some artists and stuff. So I can't go on there. So I can't just use X and show it here on stream. I can't. I just, I'm not risking it. I'm an adult. I do what I want. But I've been trying to clean up my X so that I can do that. But like even some of the Godzilla artists I follow in Japan will like once in a blue moon post something that's maybe a little too fancy for YouTube. So out of fear, and then whatever it puts in my For You following, so we've got screenshots, but I've got screenshots of all of them. So if you use X and you want to go and follow them on X, their usernames will be here on the screen once we get them. I got all my photos out. I have a huge brick of photos, but I accidentally put the credit photos out of order on accident. I wasn't paying attention when I was doing it. I'm trying to do 5 or 6 things today. We had a repairman over to fix our heat here, so we haven't had heat in the last 3 days, and it's been freaking cold. With wind, it's been in the single digits where I'm at. So dealing with that and taking care of Tater and seeing Larissa after work, spending a little bit of time. Tomorrow's the holidays, Thanksgiving for the U.S. at least, so early Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates. Hopefully you're spending it the way you want to, whether that's with family, friends, solo, or maybe you have a partner or pets that you want to spend time with. That's what we're doing here. I just got finished watching the God's Box review. Same, literally right before I went live. I watched it, and then I started another one for someone I wasn't subscribed to yet, but it was 24 minutes long, so I did not get really far into it. So I'm gonna watch that after stream. But so happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Once again, hopefully you guys are celebrating it the way that you want to. If you don't want to be with family, don't go be with family. I know that's kind of some people might disagree with me there, but I'm very much like, if you need break and space and time away from your family, like, take it. But Larissa and I and Tater will all be home. We're gonna actually be tomorrow's gonna be mostly a cleaning day before dinner, so we're gonna be cleaning all morning and doing our chores and stuff, since I have a longer weekend. She does not. I actually have 4 days off this week, so which, well, I'll also say Legion's review should actually legitimately be finally coming this weekend. I'm been kind of between upgrading my phone and being busy, and honestly just kind of haven't been feeling it as well. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been feeling in the mood. I took those first videos and I was very in, and then the phone upgrade happened, and that kind of killed me, because it's like I have to do it all over again. And then honestly, just with the weather and how cold it's been, I've been depressed, so I've not been feeling my best. So I haven't really touched it yet, but I am in the mood. Ghidorah's out, so this has got me in the mood. And then obviously, if I'm able to get Ghidorah purchased here soon, I have to be ready for Ghidorah's review. So I have to get Legion done first so I can move on to Ghidorah. So I have, once again, I have not purchased Ghidorah yet. I have to make sure that my bills and livelihood, you know, all the necessaries in life are done first. But once I have settled it and, you know, kind of looked at things, I'm more than likely going to be missing out on Black Friday sales because this will probably be my one purchase. Um, I would rather get this than, you know, some of the Black Friday stuff I've seen sales so far, which honestly haven't been many, but there's also Cyber Monday. So hopefully I'll be able to get this purchased this weekend. And then it'll be here in by like late next week, hopefully. It will be with FedEx, so it shouldn't take too long. But Cyber Monday is going to slow everything down, even if it's coming from import. So like, it wouldn't surprise me if it got, you know, it depends on how fast Genki's able to get it out, if that even stays in stock. But I've used 11 minutes of everyone's time. Let's actually dive in and start looking at it. I apologize. So the first here is our E104 is what the supposed translation is. This poster also, I believe this gentleman or gentlewoman or whatever they may go by, I believe there's the let me check. I believe this is the first review that posted was this guy. So some of the screenshots are from after the review. Let me look. See, I actually set up for stream like 3 hours ago, and I'm still missing things. It shows how busy it's just been. Life gets busy. My job's getting busier because of the holidays. So I'm a little out of whack, but I am trying. No, this is not the YouTuber posting. Okay, so these ones are different. This is not a YouTuber. We'll go through them. Oh, and I'm gonna once again. I'll keep the credits up because I'll probably show the credits. But here's someone like, this was the first photo I saw of it, of the Ghidorah in hand. It looks good here. I've seen a few people say that it doesn't look quite as golden as the promo photo, which I would agree. It does look a little bit flatter. But this is supposed to be 72, so this is the final showing of this suit. Excuse me, in the U.S. Or not in the U.S., in the Godzilla series, and then Ghidorah does appear in Zone Fighter, but the suit's like decimated at that point. So like, I don't mind the color not being quite as vibrant gold, because if, you know, they're gonna go back and do a 64 or 65 or a 68, they can save it for there. So it looks good though. I'm not gonna lie, I like the way it looks. The wings are really cool that they added like the little texture, so it makes it look kind of super weird, but like, it looks awesome. I like the way it looks. It makes it look a little bit more alien-esque. The joints are nice. It does have a really wide stance. I think you can close the legs like a little bit, but I think they're pretty matched at there, which it works. The pose that I have in mind for my shelf is a much wider stance, so I'm not too worried. Here it is with the Heisei Ghidorah. It is shorter. It ends up being shorter, even though, as you can see, the legs are super long on this figure, but the body and the necks themselves are actually shorter. So that's why, like, there's going to be a lot of comparisons next to the Haya. The reason why the Haya can articulate more is because it has longer necks and longer tails, so it has more joints, so it's able to do the loop-de-loops and weird things, where these are, you know, limited by the length they are. So these can still move really well. Like I said, there's 3 reviews out. Go check them out, and there'll probably be more. You know, by the end of, you know, tomorrow morning, there's probably going to be at least 2 or 3 more reviews, I would assume. I know the Japanese collectors aren't, even after getting it in hand, aren't super happy with the price. They're happy with the figure, but not with the price, which is understandable. This was a very expensive release. You know, $300 US is a lot. I love how goofy the faces are. Reminds me of his look in Zone Fighter. See, and that's I didn't save the photo, but there's a photo going around right now that shows like the eyes all goofy. And like, out of all the characters to get goofy eyes, I feel like Showa Ghidorah is okay, because the eyes are never really menacing looking in the movies, I feel like, besides like 64 and 65. But like by 68, 72, like the suit's all damaged. It's been thrown around. It's been smashed. Like, I feel like the eyes looking goofier on this and even being a little like not aligned works a little better. Maybe that's copium. I don't know. Plus, like, once it's up on the shelf, I'm really not gonna see it from down here. Like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me as much with this release, but obviously that could change once I get one in hand at some point. I like the scale though. I really, really like the scale. I'm told people thought it was smaller than they expected, but then as many times as I've seen that, I've also seen just as many people say, like, yeah, it's smaller, but Showa is technically smaller than Heisei, so it makes sense. And then it still looks really good next to the kaiju. I almost thought that it was going to be closer to Gigan's height, just out of fear. But they ended up making it humongous huge, which in Showa, Ghidorah is supposed to be 100 meters tall, something I didn't know. You know, all the Showa characters are in that 40 to 50 range, and then Ghidorah is supposed to be 100. So, like, you know, and then Heisei is 120, so, like, it makes sense that they're slightly shorter than the other. It looks really good. Is it perfect? Probably not, but I think that more comes from Godzilla and Anguirus being a little... I almost want to say they're too large, especially Anguirus. Like, at times, I feel like Anguirus is a little big. Not that that's a bad point. It's close enough. And then I feel like 72 Godzilla is a little tall, but Gigan looks good next to Ghidorah, and that's kind of all that really matters, you know, is the set. Okay, so who we got? Okay, so I believe... yes, okay. So this gentleman right here, the next gentleman we're looking at, this is Maju Wild Styles. This guy actually does have a YouTube channel. God damn it. Fuck. Sorry, guys. Hopefully we're doing good. We're still good here. Audio is still good. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. Yeah, okay, we're good. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. There is a review. This guy, the gentleman does have a review on it. Actually. Yeah. This will be fine. I don't care if some of my ASMR videos get leaked. Screw it, I don't care. This review right here. This is his. The one with the most reviews so far. This is the first one. This was posted early this morning. I love his reviews. I do take what he says with a grain of, a little bit more than a grain of salt. Like, when I watch a review, I tend to really make sure that, like, I listen to what they're saying. Yeah, dude, it's... Here we go. Okay, here's the differences. You guys can see the backgrounds kind of look similar. Remember, my eyes are so bad that those backgrounds, like, besides seeing kind of like the wood grain effect in that other one, and this one looking like it's more like a paper, and that other one looking like it's cloth, like, I can't see that. So, like, when I was quickly panicking and setting these all up, I couldn't see that. So, yeah, but this comes from Mijuno Mori is what YouTube is translating it to. Once again, this review is out on YouTube. I would check it out. God's Box's review is also out. And then there was that third review as well. That's also out. So I would go check those out before anyone gets, like, too big of an opinion. But obviously, if you're going to own the figure, wait until you get it. But it's looking good. Yes, so you can kind of see it here. One of the things that I'm really excited about that I didn't know how I would feel about it when I saw the promos is that he actually has a belly flap here. So you can see, like, there's this mold line, so it's not like there's two cuts here for the same thing. This is a shield that moves around when you're twisting the body or crunching it forward and up. So this actually protects it. So you can actually, if you don't like the look of it, I've seen people push it up more. Now, obviously, you're going to start creating gaps and creating issues, but if you want to lean Ghidorah down more, you can push that up so it can lean more or lean backwards more to help hide the gaps as best you can. Obviously, it's an articulated figure with ball joints. It's still going to have some gaps. Same thing with the articulated heads. There's going to be gaps when you're moving them around, like you kind of see it a little bit, but it looks good. I kind of wish I would have brought up one of the reviews so I could show you guys just like how fluid the joints are. But I guess I'll say go check out reviews early if you want, or not to plug myself, but if you really want to see the articulation like in motion, you guys can always wait for my review to come out as well. So here's a really good. This shows off the articulation. This isn't the limit for the heads. They do go farther back, but you can kind of see right here they're starting to gap up a little bit, which happens. And this middle head specifically, if it's pushed, I believe it is this joint right here. I've seen it on 2 different reviews. If you push it past its limit, it will pop off, but it doesn't just pop off like the 91s. I like that he can crouch forward, yes, which is super. You see, like right here, look at how far he's leaned over. That's that shield moving up into the body, so it can lean like that. This is the correct posture, especially of 64 and 65 and 68. I feel like in 72 he's standing up a little bit more, but this is technically the correct posture for the Ghidorah, is this big old hunchback thing. So it's very nice that they went through and did this. The heads can go farther down, not much more, and then these are also angled outwards, so they're kind of going more like in a wave. But the wings. So I thought they were just like ball joint pegs, but they've got like some. It almost looks metal in the reviews. It looks like a metal like hinge joint. It gives you a little bit of tilt up and down, so they can tilt this way. The way that my mouse is moving, they can tilt this way like a little bit, but the sculpt stops it, and you're definitely going to be wrecking paint. So I wouldn't recommend it. But then it's got like this shoulder cap that kind of moves for it a little bit as well. And then it's got a hinge that lets it flap, out this way. So, if that makes sense. So I really feel like they nailed the wing articulation and durability so far, at least. I keep bringing that up instead of going here. So let's grab here. Here's a closer photo at this collector's eyes on his. These 2 are fine. That's probably sculpt different, and they're a little size different. These 2 might be a little goofy. These 2 look spot on. Once again, like, yeah, if you want them to have the more menacing forward eyes, I'm not going to say that everyone's guaranteed to get the eyes that they want. It does look like there's going to be a little bit of variation. And once again, there is one example of one set being very bad. Actually, with my new phone, it's been downloading to iCloud a lot faster. Let me see if I can't grab that really quick from the group chat. My friend Matt did share it earlier. There it is. And I don't. So the person who posted this photo of the eyes specifically noted that they saw the eyes, didn't like the eyes, and then they put the figure away. I'm guessing to sell. Once again, that's their choice. So be it. I'm not going to sit here and say if someone's not happy with a figure that they can't, not like it. But at the same time, this is the only person I've seen complain about it too. So this might be one of those very, it's common in any toy line. When you're making a couple thousand of a toy, there are a handful that regrettably are going to get by that aren't going to look as good. It's just how it is. I've got the screen muted so I can actually go into my iCloud. I'm not seeing it here. Let's see here. I'm going to refresh it. If not, I'll bring up my Instagram. I think I can show off... I think I can show off my DMs pretty safely, I think, unless I have to log in. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this photo. I'm trying to be thorough because I don't want people sitting here saying, oh, well, I'm MonsterArts biased, when it's just like, no, I like to look at all the information, and if I don't like it after seeing all the information and I get it in a hand, then I don't. But I'm going to be told that, people are really mad and they don't like the figure and this and that. I also want to see, you know, people not liking it. So this is the photo. Once again, these two eyes don't look bad. I will say these two sets look a little goofy, especially this eye. I don't know what happened here. I'll be honest. Like I don't have an answer for that. That is kind of a little goopy, but these ones are. I don't mind these two, and then this set's fine. So here, you know, this is one set that I have seen that, yeah, the eyes aren't. Yeah, that's Kenny. You know, so it's like, but once again, like I feel like it's fine for Showa Ghidorah because Showa Ghidorah looks goofy. But that's my opinion. If you don't agree with that, once again, 100% A-okay. 100% fine with that. You don't have to like it. That's okay. Here's another photo. I don't believe this was shown off in the review, but if you do have this fancy Tamashii stand, you can get it in a flight pose. That is not included with the figure, though. There is no accessories at all. So this is showing the hip articulation. This actually made me gasp. I was pretty impressed with the fact that it could kick up. This is kicking just about the height of the 72. So if you have the 72, you now kind of have a feel for how high this Ghidorah can kick up. Definitely the best articulated Ghidorah MonsterArts has put out, period. So here's our next V2AB29. Once again, credits to them. This is their photo, not mine. I do believe there's either a lighting trick or there's a filter on these. I left a few comments in my posts when I was going live saying it's a filter, but I looked at it a little closer and it's like, I can't tell. There is definitely something going on with the photo. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I almost want to leave this one up. This photo makes the figure look spectacular. I'm gonna be honest, I think it looks amazing. I think this makes the figure just absolutely look amazing. You could say if there's a filler on it, it almost makes it look Showa. Makes it look old. It just looks really good. And see, all of these photos I've showed off, how many photos are you actually able to see, like, all the three heads have, you know, might have messy eyes? Almost none. Because most people don't take up-close photos showing off the eyes of their figures. When you're making actual photography, you don't typically see it. So that's kind of like, as the years have gone on, like I've gone lighter on MonsterArts eyes issues because, like, I don't see it when I'm sitting down looking up at the shelf. I don't even see it when they're up here at the desk with me. I only see it when I'm taking a photo of the face. Now, mind you, if you want to take a really cool face where you got someone aura farming you and looking mean in the front, yes, that does hurt that photo. You have to go in and edit it, which that is understandable, but most people don't take photos like that typically. So especially like with these articulated figures, like you're throwing these in like big battle poses and stuff, like if the eyes are messy, you're not even going to see it. Like this looks fine right here. You know, that looks like an angle. You can't even see that eye. You can't even see that eye. So that's kind of why, like, if you want to know why I'm not super like against you know, the eyes being an issue, and I've kind of gotten a little bit more nicer about it, that's because, like, if I don't see it in my photography, like, I just can't be mad. And once again, I take way more photos than I post online, so like and that's a personal thing, so, you know, it just doesn't bother me. You can see a little bit. Now that might just be the angle because that looks like it's a spike, but, you know, like the tails do admittingly look a little odd. I feel like this sculpt could have been maybe made a little bit more sharper, a little bit more fancier. Actually, if we jump right into I'm gonna jump right into here quick. I mean, that might just be a different color thing. I don't know, they look a little bit more, they have more depth right here, but that might just be the angle in the pose. So the tails, I don't quite know how to feel. I'll wait until it's in hand before I judge, jury, and execution of the tails. Are they perfect? Probably not. But Here's the body kind of showing what's going on. So it almost looks like there's an additional joint cut in the breast, but only on this side. I don't know, that's weird looking. It almost looks like there's another cut in the tit, but here's that flap, that protector. I don't have a good photo of it, but from the articulation sections, it almost looked like the Ghidorah had like a hybrid joint cap like the Godzilla 2000 here on the knees. It almost looked like that, but then it looked like the 62 as well. So like, you know, right, it's got like that, but like it didn't look like it was that exactly either. So sorry, I had my 2000 in a pose, so I was playing with my toys. So it looks good. One thing, I haven't even mentioned this yet. One thing that has surprised me with this figure is that the wings are huge. Like, look at these wings. These are huge, massive wings, which is good. It's correct for Showa Ghidorah. The wings are supposed to be huge, kind of like 2019. So I'm very impressed with that. I like the sculpt. They're hard plastic. They're not bendy wire. So, you know, like here it is next to other figures. Here's a Region 444. This is their photo. Here's the actual, you know, the photo not in the post. So looks really, really good. All four together. And I think, honestly, that's going to be the biggest selling point of this Ghidorah. Is one, it's a Showa Ghidorah. It's our first official articulated Showa Ghidorah. And it fits in a set, which is why I'm hoping with the 72 set closing after 2.5 years or 2 years, that after this, especially with the Showa stuff, if they're going to release these like 75, like, you got to do it like progressively over a year or two as full sets, you know. So I'm very pumped about this. Gigan looks good. Once again, I don't have Ghidorah in hand, so I'm not going to have like a defined absolute opinion on this figure. But I would say, just off of everything I'm going off of right now, it looks like Gigan might be the, and I say this with the most respect and politeness and love for this figure, I think Gigan ends up being the worst, the lowest ranking of the four. If I had to rank just the four, I think Gigan ends up being the bottom. Which, if Gigan is number 4 out of these 4, that just says how good these 3 are. Like, Gigan's the most limited in articulation, where you can definitely tell from these 3 that there's new engineering ideas and techniques being used, where Gigan is definitely like a 2010s MonsterArts, like, or early 2000s MonsterArts, 2020s MonsterArts, where like Anguirus, Ghidorah so far, and Godzilla 72 definitely feel like a whole different era, which obviously the Godzilla 72 isn't quite on the same level as 2000, but like it's that middle point, and Anguirus feels like it's basically 2000 except with like shoulder joints, you know, like butterflies, which it makes sense that it can't do the way that it's engineered, so that's why it has a lot of range to make up for that and recoup. So I think, you know, Anguirus is on that level, and I would say Ghidorah's on that level as well with 2000. I was telling my friend, you know, Thirsty Thursday Toys Adam, I was telling him, like, I might like this guy. This Ghidorah might end up taking spot number 2 for the year, and could even rival number 1. I love Ghidorah. I love the size. I like the big kaiju in the MonsterArts line, and then when they're super articulated like this, and can do a lot of poses, whether super serious or movie accurate or just wild like video game poses, like, this is it right here. So I'm not saying, but I am saying that, like, I love this. So I'm loving it off of just the photos online. You guys can see that photo. We're gonna talk about this, don't worry. I like it. So, like I said, not that I'm inviting you guys to buy the last of the stock that Hobby Genki has before I can get my own, but Hobby Genki does have it available if you guys want it. Still, for now, Now we're going to talk about something that I've been seeing a lot of people talk about since this was even teased before it was even fully announced. Oh, oops. Let's do fluff. I can't do it like that. Let's do it like this. How about this? Okay, we take this and we. Yes, the photo image is crappy. This is the best one I could find. I'll actually just take my webcam out off of it. So a lot of people have been saying this is just the bootleg Ghidorah, which obviously it's not. This figure and the MonsterArts are definitely not the same thing. Not even close. You can clearly see it. But I've seen a lot of people. I even had someone on one of my, on the 72 live stream posts say that this is still a better product. Not calling them out, not saying to go harass. I'm just continuing my thoughts from that post and sharing them here and making it a discussion point. If I had to recommend getting the bootleg or the MonsterArts, I would say the MonsterArts. It's an official product at the end of the day. I've been very clear about this on my channel, and if I haven't been clear, here it is again. I don't support bootleg products. I don't like them. I think it's wrong. Which is funny coming from a pretty anti-corporation guy, which it basically is supporting corporations, but that's something I'll defend any of them on, is if you hold the rights to something, wherever it's coming from, whatever country, or in this case, this bootleg, a supposed early prototype of a MonsterArts, supposedly, quote unquote. I don't remember if that ever got disproven or proven. I would assume Tamashii would never ever admit it. But they're not the same, and it's pretty good. I'm not gonna sit here and deny and say that the bootleg isn't bad. It's still pretty good, but I don't agree with bootlegs. Did they ever figure out where the bootleg came from? It supposedly was a MonsterArts prototype that was stolen from the factory, but there's no fact checking that because I doubt Tamashii will ever admit it. And obviously anyone can say what they want, but unless it comes from the head of the Hydra, I don't know. So it could be a custom mold from China from a sculptor. It could also be a prototype that was stolen, and then Tamashii was just like, all right, well, you guys aren't getting it. It is interesting to note that this is specifically labeled 64. And obviously, not just by my search bar, when this came out, this was bootleg 64, not 72. So, for the people who say, well, can I have both? It's well, yeah, technically, you can have both, have a 64 display and a 65 and 68 display, and have a 72 display. But no, I don't agree. And then if you're looking here, it's still $100 to buy this thing. AliExpress, I believe this is from China, so you're still gonna have to pay tariffs. You're still going to have to pay expensive shipping, and it's still going to take forever. And then I've been told a lot of these just come in broken. That's kind of the thing with bootlegs. You're going to have broken figures or things not working. I haven't seen that in a while, but I know these were hard to find for a while, too. These kind of fell off the market, and then they came back. So, and then I know there's people bootlegging the bootleg as well. So, so if you want it, go there. I will never support that, and I'm not saying that to kiss Tamashii's butt or anything. That is what I just believe. Is I don't think it's right to buy any product from any company that is not, officially licensed. There's things that can be interpreted, there's things that are based off of, but this literally is a not MonsterArts figure of the character, and it's even labeled as the character on here. It's not even like this one where it's they're trying to avoid copyright. This one's just flat out saying, yeah, this is Godzilla King of the Monsters, King Ghidorah. And these 100 ones, these probably aren't even real ones either, because one that's not the same colors, the wings aren't the same. These are probably actually a completely different. So I don't even know if you can get this bootleg, this specific one anymore. So, like, oh, I was hoping these photos were going to be larger. I went and deleted all my photos. I just wanted to compare the two really quick. I mean, here. You're going to tell me these two are the same thing? Not even... Well, to unprofessionally post it, to unprofessionally put it, they're not even fucking close. And anyone who says they are just don't know what the fuck they're... They don't actually know what the fuck they're talking about if you think these two are the same things. They're the same design, yeah, but these are not... There's nothing on this, the MonsterArts figure, that's the same on this. Not a reused piece. The wings aren't the same. These wings are thicker, have better detail. This doesn't. The heads are completely different. I think, you know, like I said, this is more 64-65. So, like, once again, you could own both and say that they're two different suit variations. If MonsterArts ever releases this figure as a decisive battle or a different year, will they be doing, like, different heads for them that look a little bit more accurate? Probably not. But like even the colors, like this is just like a flat sand color with, I think it's like brown or black highlights that do look good. And then like a cream, like it just, I don't know. I know it's mostly just people trying to hate on MonsterArts and get a rise out of people, or they're just bots, not even real people. Hey man, it's nice to see you. Hi James, nice to see you as well. The wings are very hard plastic. Articulation on the wings aren't the best. Also, the mouths don't really open. Based on what I've seen, the small is way better. Yeah, it's not even close. This, I'm telling you guys, like, so far, just off of the videos, this 72 Ghidorah looks like it has like 2000s Godzilla 2000 or Anguirus level articulation. You know, so it's suit accurate, but it's also like it's got like what I call the gameverse articulation, where you can do this Ghidorah in the wide, crazy poses. So, you could. And that's something I'm going to test, because that's one of my favorite things that I can't do with Mecha King Ghidorah, is do kind of some of the crazier, like, destroy all monsters, melee, or save the earth poses. I should be able to with this Ghidorah. In theory, I should. So, we have a ton of Instagram notifications. Just a second. I did see right before I started stream that Tamashi was doing more reveals. They've done reveals the last few days. So, oops, Matt, I'll have to get back to you. There's God's Box post, which we're going to Instagram post. Let's see. No reveals. We had the Blue Goku and the God Goku yesterday, but we... I'm waiting. I think there's going to be a Tamashi reveal. I would assume it's the movie graphic figures, but I just going off a suggestion, not that I'm saying that I know or somebody else knows something and then I know because they said something or suggested, but I would likely say that the Destroy Evolution set is probably in the next release. With me saying that, remember that will be a Tamashi web exclusive, so, and it probably will be around the same price as this Ghidorah. I do think it's going to be like $240, $250. But I was high. I priced Mega Gearus high, so let's hope that they're cheaper. But I would just say it's likely that it's probably going to be around that Legion, or not Legion, Mega Gearus Ghidorah Shimo price for the Evolution set and Junior. The Monster at 72 looks great, but it's expensive. I don't know if I'll have space for it. Yeah, this thing's going to take up a lot of space. I already had to change my shelf up. I actually have all 72 figures here next to me on the shelf, because I had my 54 anniversary poster version on its box on the background, and the second I saw how wide the wings are, I was like, well, I have to take that down. So I have to actually rework the shelf, but really no point in me doing it until I actually have the figure. One thing that ended up being really cool about this figure is the box is actually a lot smaller than people expected. Actually semi-break my rule here. We will go into God's Box's review just here in a second, because he actually gives us a good look at the box. Shows off the size of it. So here's the box in hand. I don't know about you guys, but this box looks small compared to 91 Ghidorahs. This box is looking pretty compact. So I'm pretty excited for it. It still looks really tall, and it does look deep, but it's not like long. And that's because, spoiler alert, the tails aren't attached in the box. The tails are detached, which I actually did predict. I said if the wings were on ball joints that those would actually be detached, which it kind of helps show that this is probably a metal joint in there, but I'll see once I get it in hand because no one's made an official comment about it. I don't know. It looks good. I'm excited for it. Yeah. So that's kind of it. We're 45 minutes in. I kind of feel like we're at our point. Like, once again, if you want to keep, only go with the bootleg, sure. I do think saying that the bootleg is better value than this is just wrong, because a bootleg can't have more value than an official product. Can a bootleg be better than an official product? Absolutely. But do I think that it makes it more better value? I personally don't think so, because it's an unofficial release. It's something that someone does not have a timestamp for, which is why a lot of these third-party heads or sculptors or bootleggers can end up making the product look better, especially like when you look at the Dragon Ball line. Like, people will sit there and be like, oh yeah, well, this Gogeta looks better than the official one. And although I do have a problem with the official Super Gogeta's faceplates and its sculpt, mainly its sculpt, because it's the 2.0 body, which wasn't that good. Of course the third party one's going to look better. They're not on a time crunch. They don't have companies down their backs. They're not in a factory. Most of them are like semi hand painted at first, and then they go on and do, like, there are things that make this figure more expensive. It's also why these are more expensive, because these are in a factory with people that have to be paid. So these production runs, pay for people's jobs, where, a bootleg takes only $5-10 to make, and although it might be in a factory and being made, it's not being done to this scale. So like, we gotta, not that I want to like completely like be like, these prices are a-okay, because they are high. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and deny $300 for this is a lot. Like, and that's coming from a guy who's now only buying MonsterArts next year. Besides 2 or 3 Figure Arts Ultraman releases, because I have to basically only focus one, because one, we're going to Japan in July. And 2, like, I actually have to only focus one line because the line is so expensive. It's $3,000. The estimate is about $2,800 a year for MonsterArts, is how much I need to make sure I have in place to be able to buy these MonsterArts and to get them shipped here. It's probably about $2,800 depending on what they release. Now, if they're going to do it like this year and they're going to release 4 figures that are all above $200, $500, or 4 or 5 releases, that's going to go more. So I've been rounding it up to 3,000. That's a lot of money just for collectibles in the state that the U.S. is currently in my own financial situation. That's a lot of money. That's like 4 months worth of checks, which is why it's important that I be an adult and I budget these. So like, I do get that the price is just high. $300 for this is really high, and that turns people off, and it just flat out means people aren't going to be able to get it, and that does suck, because I would like everyone to get one of these. But at the same time, as someone who has worked in a factory and with a manufacturer who actually did inventory and got to see things that maybe I wasn't even really supposed to see, on like what it costs to make something, and then you start applying that to toys and prices on plastic, prices on paint, something I haven't even brought up, but they said this with 91. The gold paint does add a cost to this figure, because this gold paint is special. It isn't something that they can just do. They said that for both 91s back in the day. Mecha King Ghidorah had less gold paint, so they didn't have to worry about it. I don't think they said anything with the 2019 special color version, so maybe that's something that they've fixed. It's not as expensive to import this gold paint in or to mix it. I didn't see them say it about this figure, so I'm not going to say that's a fact, but in the past that has been something that's done it. Even SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball line, when Broly came out with the gold gauntlets and boots, there was a note saying that the gold is special on this figure. So maybe that was just an older Tamashi thing compared to a newer thing. I don't really know. Maybe it's the lighting that makes the box look small. No, I mean, the box is small because, one, like, he's holding it just right here. Like, it looks like it's, maybe this tall. So, like, it's still a decent size, but, like, the 91 Shinjuku box was huge. Legion's box, huge. Shimo's box, huge. Destroya, Biolante. This doesn't look like it's on that size. They've been... One thing I'll give MonsterArts that I feel like no one has given them credit for up until this release, MonsterArts has been doing really good at compressing their boxes down so they're not as large. All the Godzilla releases, the actual like Godzilla releases, have had like super small boxes, really compressed. The 54 poster version, the 95 anniversary version, 2000, all have like pretty condensed boxes. -1 large box. I think they're doing it to protect the dorsal plates a little bit. Also, some of it is just like, well, we have this box size already remade. Let's not, go out of our way. Where it's like, 2000 is new. 95, it's been 10 years since we've had a 95. A Burning Godzilla 1995. So, and then different accessories as well. To where like, unless it was going to come with the smoke stats, they couldn't have used the ultimate boxes in the same way that they couldn't use the originals boxes because it had the tanks in it. By the way, I recently got the MonsterArts Shin because of your past videos. I absolutely love it. I'm glad, James. I'm very glad that you enjoyed the Ortho Shin. I love mine. I love all the Shins that MonsterArts has released that I've owned. Obviously, I haven't owned the G-Store Maquette Paint one, so I can't say. But I'm glad that my past reviews and videos have helped. And honestly, moving forward, I hope I'm able to continue helping with that process. That's the point of my reviews. Yes, sometimes I get a little, gabby about these figures, very positive, but I do try to be critical. It's the same thing going into Legion. Like there are some things to discuss. When you look at how expensive Legion was, like there are some things that we have to have an honest discussion about, but there's also understandable things as well with it. So, and same thing will be here where I get it in hand, there might be some issues. There also might be some issues that I'm okay with compromising with because it led to an overall the figure's better because of it, which is something weird to say, but like the wings not being like bendy wire, well, it gives it this really professional, like nice detailed sculpt, that you might not be able to do on a bendy wire sculpt because it has to be able to move, and if it has a bunch of wrinkle lines in the wings, you can't really do that, or it has a weird joint connection, which is one of my main issues with the Haya, is the way that the wings plug in, because it switches from the joints to the bendy wire material, and I don't think it looks as good, but that's a personal nitpick, where I would much rather just have hard plastic wings. So, but there's nothing wrong with having that opinion of wanting the bendy wires either. I personally think the hard plastic works better for the Showa because they kind of look like they were big fans, which obviously they moved like a little bit, but not like as much as like Heisei, where like they would fully, like a real wing, really move. But maybe I'm misremembering this design wrong. So I think that's about it. We are just about 55 minutes in. I think I've said just about everything I kind of want to say. Bro, I've been meaning to ask you, where can I find the schedule for when you stream? James, I don't actually have a schedule because it's kind of random right now, and honestly, I'm like kind of too depressed half the time to like always be like, hey, we're gonna stream now, because sometimes like I'll be in the morning, I'll be like, hey, we're gonna stream, and then by the time I wake up and I start getting ready for stream, I'm really just not in the mood for it. And I have forced myself in the past to do a schedule and stream even when I don't feel like it, and it has ended up in some really, really bad streams, or unprepared for streams when it comes to something like this, which obviously we saw. Yeah, and it's all good. There's like, it's just something, it's that time of year. It's cold. I don't like the cold, so it makes my body all angry. you know. So, but I do. So James, what I do though, and I'll show you this, is the best way to know when I'm going to stream is whether it's on a desktop or if you're on your phone or if you're on an iPad, is going over to my posts. You can't get a notification for these, which is really, personally, it's frustrating, because I would like people to see these. But I make a post. So like I made this one where I was like, hey, the first in hands are here, and the stream, and I give the time. So this is the best way to know when I'm going to stream, is by going into my posts tab. If you're on your phone or on an iPad, the posts will literally be in your subscription feed. So like when you're going through, I gotta make sure that I'm looking at this right. You know, like when you're going through, like the posts will be in this tab. Let's see. So you'll see like the annoying community things. But like here's Sir Melee. There's his post. It's just right there on the phone. So if you're on console, you can't see posts. Console is only the videos. So, yep, yeah. So this is where, and this isn't just for streams either. This is like, so the other day I tried streaming for 30 minutes and then my internet just obliterated itself. So I updated here. Here's the the announcement for the Gotango full stream. I like to post some of my photography on here. So like here's some photos of Legion, just supposed to be like an early first look at Legion. Here's a few different shots. Because I have been so out of pace with this review, where everything this year, basically since we've restarted, uploading regularly, Legion's like the first like, oops, it's super delayed video. Which I still have all the pieces out and stuff. I just, like I said, been depressed, and this is kind of like a big video, which, we have a new phone, so I'm gonna try to make Legion look the best. But I also post, like, when we get new reveals, I post them here as well, James. So like you can go through. So here's all the Tamashii Nations reveals, and then this was a full solicitation. I post the solicitations as well. I say when they happen. I say when they release. I always post the Japanese yen, because I wait until there's a US MSRP. I also don't do the conversion rate for these, because it's kind of different by site. So most sites have it. So like Hobby Genki tells you what their conversion rate is, and then once you go into it and you start, choosing shipping, then you'll see, the shipping price. So, John Cena, hi, how's it going? Konnichiwa. Regrettably, I do have to say I am just about to end stream, but thanks for joining in. And of course, everyone, thanks for watching in, saying hi, and watching the stream, hanging out. Hopefully this was entertaining enough. I do apologize the first 11 minutes. We could have ended a little bit earlier if I would have gotten that intro in, but that's okay. So let people actually get in and hang out, and if they wanted to see something, they could. So the Legion review, not going to guarantee it, but I am absolutely in the mood to film and record again. And now that I've kind of been practicing with the new phone, testing out the new settings, I'm kind of feeling a little bit more confident with it. So I think I'm ready to dive into Legion, getting her done, and then hopefully after bills are paid, I'll have enough for Ghidorah so I can import Ghidorah. So then we'll have Ghidorah within the next week or two, and a review hopefully out by like the 10th at the latest, if we're able to get it in here. Now obviously if it doesn't get delivered till this week, then that changes it, but hopefully the Ghidorah review, if I'm able to buy it before the holidays, will get here before the holidays. So thanks to everyone who's watched. For the chat, it's just Servo, IKD, James, and John Cena, Peacemaker Season 3. Thank you guys for chatting, hanging out, leaving a comment. Thanks for everyone for watching this stream. I will see you guys in the next live stream. We might do something this weekend. I have to decide. Be on the lookout on my posts tab here on the channel, and I'll update you guys with everything. I'm sure I'll make a post for when Legion's dropping as well. So take care, everyone. Have a good night. Bye, guys. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Happy early Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Enjoy it the way you would like to. So, take care, everyone.